Okay, I got the old transmission with the stuck axle, and I wrapped a chain and bolted it on both sides, and that chain is anchored back to the 4x4, holding on to the axle only. The other side, again, this is a tapered shaft, so the chain here is hanging onto that taper, and the chain goes back to a come-along. The come-along is chained to the 4x4. So right now the 4x4's got all the tension, and this cable, I can stand on that cable. It is rock solid. It is pulling real hard against this drive shaft and this drive shaft. And then I've got an additional chain here so that I can swing the sledge. Put a shock load on it. It should shock it and pop that axle out. That's the theory. This old floppy sledge, still got the weight on the end, but the handle's all trashed. Luckily, because we're just trashing the handles even harder. I heard. What? Oh yeah, a good chunk came out. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. One hit. Ooh. All right. Strong. Screw right here. Okay, we can undo that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's try and get this thing straight there. What was happening here is the outer sun gear is attached to this contraption that is the open differential, and it has these 4 gears inside of it. These gears here, this is the far side axle and the mid shaft attached. So this goes in there, this one goes on this side, and I thought this spline was stuck. But the spline is not stuck at all. It slides quite nicely back and forth here. But there's some metal transfer here. And that's the bushing surface. And the seal was back here. So this bushing surface here basically rode against the inner part here. And there is this little wafer. I guess that's the bushing material, because this rests up against there, which if I take this apart, basically in here, that lower surface there is what this bushing piece rests up against, which is what the gear rests against. Both, like this one this axle here's got a little bit of metal transfer going on there, and the mid shaft has got metal transfer going on here. So here's the pieces here. Okay, so this is the bearing surface for in there, and if you look inside here, we've got metal transfer going on here. So that was metal transferring over to here. Anyhow, I'm not sure I can save this mid shaft because that surface there has been destroyed, and I think we're gonna have to go to spare parts. So even though I smashed this apart to save the mid shaft, that's why it wouldn't come apart. That's why it's garbage. And since the mid shaft isn't available, we are gonna go to plan B, and the mid shaft will come out of the new donor car, because apparently you can't even buy that mid shaft. So I guess we'll harvest this one, stick it on the new transmission, and put the engine back in there. Okay, so that's how much wiggle room I have to line up the splines. No, didn't make it past the splines. Let's try it again. No, didn't make it even to the splines. There we go. No, there's, sheesh, so that whole hit didn't work. Hey, that hit worked. Oh, I can't pop it back out. We actually succeeded that time, except it's not in. Like, holy crap, that's a long ways from being all the way in. Well, she's not coming back out now. And she's not all the way in. Oh, crap. Wow. I don't know what the secret is. Okay, hit stop. I'm going to get you to back. Well, maybe we can do it here. Yeah. There we go. She popped out. Okay, let's axle here. So this little circlip moves around, and we're going to pack it with grease so that it doesn't have nearly as much movement, so it stays centered. So here's my grease supply. So I'm just going to try and balance it centered here and check it, I guess. You're going to bump that clip 3 times before it gets lined up. There it is there, lined up. Okay, let's back her out.
There you go.
Except it didn't go all the way in again. It's still 3/4 of an inch away.
Well, I think we need to hammer it.
No way, I'm not hammering it. I mean, I'll unhammer it. But
well, in no way to push it from here.
there we go. Well, that went in further. Maybe that's it. So I took the slide hammer and I slipped it over this joint here, and then I used it to pound it in, which they tell you never to do, but it actually moved it about 1/2 inch easily, and it had already slid in about 1/2 inch, so we just did the last little bit. Even though I'm pounding against rubber, it just gave it enough force to tuck it in that last 1/2 inch. I'm pretty happy with where it is now, so we're going to leave it there. Okay, well, we got the Goblin all back together now. The axle on this side that was stuck is in position. Even though it's a 1/4 inch out, that's an inch long surface. And on the other side of the differential, we got the half shaft pulled out of the donor car. This side got a new axle, new transmission, and then this is out of the donor car, and I left this out of the donor car, so this is donor car too. Anyhow, both sides now are unstuck, but the Goblin is back together and running great. So it's not leaking out of this side. The seal's good. We are gonna call this fixed. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.